Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be showing off the new crawlers in action, specifically the builds with Suma. Suma actually adds a lot more to the deck because it lets the deck play a lot faster because you're going to be able to get double crawler monsters instantly, and you can basically set them up for your plays. So what it comes down to, and I'm going to explain the effect of it real quick, you'll see it again and again. But Suma over here, he's a really easy card to summon. He is level 6, which you might think is awkward, but you go ahead and you summon him by targeting a face-up monster you control, and you can just special summon him. And then you change that monster to face-down defense position. So you basically summon a crawler, you can flip it back face-down, and then you've got a Suma. Suma can actually change its level if you want to by 2 or 4, and then if you do, you get to special summon crawler monsters with different names from your hand, deck, and or graveyard whose total levels equal the amount reduced in face-up or face-down defense position. But obviously it's going to be face-down defense position most of the time. But if you want to, you can get basically 3 monsters instantly right there and then set up your crawlers. A lot of the times though with the deck, you don't always have to play passive. It's going to be more of an aggressive gameplay here, but you'll see more passive gameplay also. But it's to show that like the crawler archetype can very easily make like a Bow of the Goddess and or other things turn 1, which normally it would be a little bit more difficult to do because crawlers, as you guys know, it's a slower archetype. The whole archetype is based around flip effects. A lot of times you can go for Spined as well as Axon, and I'll kind of explain it if you guys haven't seen crawlers. Heck, I haven't seen crawlers in so long, you probably haven't either, so I'll kind of give you guys the ins and outs of the deck. So basically, there are flip effects for the most part, but when you get rid of one of them, basically you get to bring out double crawlers. And so the only real bad matchup I would say is maybe Dinos, because Dinos can just keep on attacking, right? Connector Tyrant doesn't care if you kept on special summoning, he's gonna go and destroy everything. And on top of that, it sends it to the graveyard, but it has the effect of if this face-up card its owner's control leaves the field via a card effect, you get to special summon 2 crawlers. Even the Link monster over here, if it's destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect while the owner controls it, you get to summon 2 crawlers with different names from your graveyard. Obviously, to summon it, you're going to need 2 crawlers, so you'll be able to go for it. So even if like your opponent torrentials or gets rid of your monsters, you're going to be able to keep on bringing them back. But again, Suma is basically the star player of the entire archetype now. If you open up with Suma, you have a pretty decent chance at having a more fast-paced game, because that's like the biggest problem crawlers have is like you have one monster, you set it down, if they get rid of it, you can get double, but like a lot of times they just end up negating the effects, and it's a slower archetype. But again, Suma, you can see that got impermed, it was going to destroy it anyways, because Axon pops the Spell and Trap. And there's another one that pops the monsters, which is going to be Spine. So a lot of times you'll see, well, this is actually a new archetype too, the Labyrinth. They even brought out a Supreme King Zark, but it doesn't really matter, it's going to be game anyways. But a lot of times you will bring out one monster that pops the monsters and one that will be popping the back row. But there's just a quick little gameplay here. We'll also see it up against zombies over here. But again, the whole archetype really needs to open up with one of the newer cards. Specifically, it's just really one new card, but it completely changes up the archetype. Again, it's Suma to make the deck more viable. You can run Prosperity. The whole deck doesn't really need an extra deck too much. I mean, cards like Bow of the Goddess, you have your Nightmare lineup, and as well as Access Code Talker to really push for game. But you also have access to the Deus Ex Crawler, which actually has a decent amount of stats too. Being able to make it so when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets it face down, you can change this card to face up defense position, negate the activation, and if you do, you get to destroy the card. And then after it's flipped face up, while it is in the monster zone, you get to negate all monster effects activate on your opponent's field. So that's a pretty good effect. It doesn't always go through because you only usually play one of Deus Ex Crawler, but pretty insane effect. But if it's destroyed by battle by card effect, you get to add from your deck to hand one level 9 monster with a different original type and attribute than this card. There were some people that did play this card in other variants. It usually had to do with like some like rank 9s exceed variants, but you can see this is exactly game over here. We have 6k with just access code as well as the Galal over here. This card, it's a flip effect, especially when a crawler monster from your hand or graveyard. There's no other one that searches it out, but a lot of them are basically level 2. So again, Suma allows you to have instant access to going for potentially, again, Link plays. Most of these plays you guys will see it has Suma, because if you don't open up Suma, it's like set pass. This is just against Blue Eyes, but the Blue Eyes player kind of plays around him. Like you'll see some like okay-ish plays over here for the Blue Eyes, because like the person's gonna know that you have like the Spine over here. He has Ash Blossom and he's got Ghost in match over here. So he's popped the card face down, and like the thing is that it has to be face up in its owner's control, leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect in order to get that bonus effect. But the flip effect, obviously he's just going to pop it face down, so he's not going to be able to flip it. He has to be able to pass because he can't attack when it does do the pop. He's going to go ahead and now get that effect. That effect for Suma just makes plays. Like, normally you'd think, oh, the Krawler player is just going to reset some of his cards. I've seen Krawler players even play Book of the Moon. Like, it's just way too slow of a whole entire archetype for the most part. Like, I'm trying to give you guys gameplay coverage of, you know, what I would say is not necessarily like the S tier of decks, but it's still like not that bad that we're getting some support. I think Suma can actually see some play in perhaps other archetypes too. There was a while back when we were playing like the Coin Norma Princess Tau Tray with the pot of the Taboo, which has like some insane effects, right? But obviously it's like a level 9 that you'd have to get out and then you'd flip it down. Again, it's just a little bit difficult to play flip effects, and as far as Yu-Gi-Oh goes, flip effect is basically irrelevant, right? It's been irrelevant for a super long time for very good reasons, because it doesn't really have anything that it can do turn 1 when your monsters are face down. There's going to be no effects for the most part, and your opponent's just going to have free reign on you. So being able to make access Kotaku is pretty good. If you guys are wondering, like, can the deck, like, auto-win GG turn 1? Because this guy's playing some variant of DPE with Sky Strikers. Pretty good stuff. Very common deck here. But let's see what the Krawler player is going to be doing over here. Big shoutouts to Magus Lucius for hooking me up with the gameplay, as well as Duel Rising here, I guess, for piloting the deck. But nonetheless, we've got Suma once again coming out. This is just so big for the deck. Like you can see, he ends up obviously Veiloring when he's going to summon double. He's going to go for a Link Karibo. He's going to Veilor the Suma, called by the grave, get rid of the Veilor, and then now Suma's going to be able to get double monsters out. So again, this is kind of your bread and butter. You want to go for Spine, you want to go for Axion. This one pops monsters, this one pops the back row, and on top of that, you're going to be able to get out double Crawlers when these cards go away. But again, if you want to, you can Link go a little bit faster. You can make double Link monsters turn 1. Like, that's pretty big for Crawlers. Like, I wouldn't have expected that. But Gozen match is actually pretty good in the deck because pretty much everything is Earth. So we have Quelliarch over here. So this is the one where, like, if it's destroyed battle or leaves, actually both of them will have some sort of way to recover here. But if it's destroyed battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect while it's owner control it, you get to target 2 Crawlers in your graveyard, you get to special them in face down defense position, and then you get to apply these effects based on the number of Krawler monsters you control, which is kind of hard to do to get all of these, like 6, like good luck, but now it's a lot easier to do it. So 2, you get to gain a small stat boost. It's small. It's like all monsters gain 300 attack and defense. 4, your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated during the battle phase. It's kind of like a meh. And then the 6, the monsters can attack directly. Again, a lot of times it's just to make 2 Krawler monsters to reset their flip effects because you're going to be getting them again when this card goes away. With Neuroghost over here, this is 2 Krawler monsters, and it has the effect where Krawler monsters this card points to cannot be destroyed by battle, and they gain some extra stats. That's why it's like the other card is 26. And then on top of that, if they battle your opponent's monster, any battle damage inflicted to your opponent is doubled. And then if this card, face-up card is destroyed battle, all leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect while its owner controls it, you can target 2 Krawler monsters with different names in your graveyard and special them up face down defense. Again, it's kind of like the same thing. If you go for like an Opaloosa, you saw before, I got like Compulse, but like if you make these, you're going to be able to like kind of have a little bit more resources. Still, at the end of the day, I think that Crawlers aren't going to be like the S tier of decks, like I mentioned before. But here's a deck profile if you guys do want it. I think the deck still needs a lot more support, but I think Suma is really good, and it's looking a little bit brighter in the future for Crawlers at least. And again, it's the only flip effect archetype that we're really getting in a long time. It's like, at least they're trying to support it, right? Here's the deck profile. I'm just going to mouse over the cards relatively quick, but if you guys do want the one-click download, it will be there in the Discord, and also it'll be there in the pinned comment if you guys just want to go ahead and click on the link to visit the Discord. But these are some extra cards they may be thinking of actually playing. I mean, Phantom Knight's Cursed Javelin is still a very good card as well, but nonetheless, if you are playing Disparity, yeah, you might RNG lose some of your cards, but the thing is that like you need Suma turn 1. Like the archetype 100% needs this. Otherwise, like your play is like set 1 card, maybe like one of these cards and pass. Like if you can set Gozen, it could be an auto win condition if you go first. But if you go in second, you go Gozen, and you don't open up Suma, yeah, you're not making some plays. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new here and you want to see more new Yu-Gi-Oh videos in the future with newer cards to come out, subscribe to the bell and definitely see more. Take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a good one. I'm out. Peace.